New Zealand could reduce its reliance on imported fuels by converting purpose-grown forests to ethanol, according to Scion, the Crown Research Institute working for New Zealand's forest industry. They've been working with wood pulp, separating lignin from sugars that are used to produce ethanol.
New Zealand's got a unique opportunity to combine our marginal land opportunities with forestry growth for biofuels production. So what we're doing in this project is we're taking advantage of that resource, and we're taking softwoods from New Zealand and we're turning them into ethanol or other biofuels. The critical question is basically, can we get enough fuel from the wood per tonne, so yield? And the second question, is it economic to get the fuel from the wood at that yield? And so challenges around energy use, efficiency, use of the co-products. So if we have all that lignin, what are we going to do with it? So economics is a key driver for the success of this project. I think in the area of softwood conversion to biofuels, it's relatively new. We're tapping into 30 years plus experience in using softwoods and turning them into added value, and therefore we think we've got an advantage over other researchers around the world in this area. Softwoods are one of the harder materials to turn into biofuels. They're very high in lignin, which is the glue that holds the wood together, and that is about 30% of the wood, so that doesn't turn into fuel, so you've got to find other use for it. The type of sugars that the wood is made up of have challenges for turning that into ethanol or other fuels, and so there are some unique technical challenges to actually creating fuels from softwoods. So what we've got here?
This is one of our latest digests, Trevor, that's starting to look really good. Yeah.
It's great, so we're getting pretty good digestion now with those enzymes, aren't we?
Yeah, no, it looks really encouraging. We'll need to certainly look later and see the glucose results, and that'll be the real determinant of how it goes.
Okay, excellent. Well done.
This is one of the examples of the pulps that we've produced in our process. So that is the first stage in the process. The second stage is then to take the pulp and suspend it in water and add enzymes. We get a solution that looks like this. And you can see what we've done is we've dissolved up a lot of the wood material, the carbohydrates in there, to produce a solution of the sugars and a residue that's rich in the lignin. So this is the top 3/4 is what we're actually interested in. So we want as much possible conversion of the carbohydrates to soluble sugars and as little possible residue in there, although we're always going to end up with lignin. So this is then converted by subsequent steps into biofuel.
We recognise that there are billions of dollars literally being put into turning sugar into biofuels over in Brazil and North America and Europe. So we're focusing on how to turn the softwood into sugar, and it's the sugar that other users can turn into the fuels. We think that's a better strategy for New Zealand rather than inventing new technologies. So at the moment, New Zealand has about 1.8 million hectares of forest, and that's used at the moment for 4x2 production, that sort of thing, plywood, pulp and paper. We have put together a scenario where we can build new forests for energy production. We believe that 1.8 million hectares of new forest could replace 65% of all the liquid fuels that New Zealand uses. We believe purpose-grown energy forests are the answer for New Zealand. There's a large amount of land which is generating less than $100 per year per hectare, and this is the land that we should target. It's non-conservation land, it's land that's usually steep, erosion prone, and has low soil quality, perfect for trees for biofuels production. Farmers are key to the development of the biofuels industry in New Zealand. We're developing software tools that allow farmers to make decisions about land use, what areas should be used in forestry, what areas should be used in arable crops, what areas should be used for beef and dairy production. And so we're looking at how they can optimise the use of the land for greatest value. We think energy forests play a role in that, but that has to be balanced against the other drivers they have for their industry. One of the few resources in New Zealand that has a positive carbon footprint is forestry, because it saves carbon from the atmosphere basically into trees. So we've calculated that if we planted 1.8 million hectares of forest, that is, we doubled our current estate, we would create about 12 million tonnes a year of CO2 offsets in this country.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.